very different when you go into the evergreens.
Our ears are demanding instruments, seeking out noise even as we sleep, separating the wanted from the unwanted, the intelligible from the random. To understand this process better, I joined the Canadian composer and sound researcher Murray Schafer and luxuriated in his world of sounds.
This is what I would call a hi-fi soundscape, you know, a soundscape in which there's the signal-to-noise ratio is very favorable. There are very few noises here, and therefore every sound that's around us can be heard at a great distance.
I see.
And the city, by contrast, you know, is really a lo-fi soundscape. That is to say, there's so many noises that it's very hard to determine what the signals are. You can't
They're
even...
very confusing.
It's very confusing.
Yes.
Here there are few enough sounds that you can hear the birds, for instance.
Yes, separately.
Like if we stand here, we can hear sounds all around us,
yes.
and sometimes from quite a great distance.
Yes.
Not just a hush, but the kind of roar, very soft roar,
yes.
which in a heavy wind gets to be quite ferocious.
Yes.
Very different from a deciduous forest. Totally different.
Yes. Lovely.
And again, the birds from all around us, and some far away, some close by. In the city, you'd never hear sounds as far away as those dogs we heard barking.
What has always bothered me, traveling, is the sense of remoteness from what my eye sees and would love, and my whole being would love to partake of.
Yes.
One sees mountains, one sees streams,
Yes.
but until one has really felt it, sensed it, and tasted it,
Yes.
it remains something totally divorced,
Yes.
hardly different from its visual appearance on the cinema screen.
Yes.
Although I had heard of Murray Schafer's soundscapes, I never imagined what fun they could be. Oh, what an extraordinary place. Whatever is this?
This is...
Oh, this is heavenly. And it's open to the sky.
This is what I wanted to show you.
Now, knowing you, I'm sure these make sounds.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear them, because of all places I've ever been to, together with you, it's a listening world.
Listen. Let's start some of it.
Where is the gong?
Try and figure it out.
Oh, there it is.
No?
No.
No. It's this one you hear.
I can...
It's here.
I can... Oh, that, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hear the very light one when the nail hits, and then the heavy one. And then you can hear these too, a little bit less, because they're all moving. You know?
Yes.
With the nail just touching you. Out of the one surface, you can get quite different sounds.
And
it's a revitalization.
Yes.
Of
An extraordinary thing, too, are the rhythms, because you get very complex rhythmic patterns, very complex.
When we were building it, you see, that was the thing to try. When we started, it's very easy to get one sound.
Yes.
And then when you add a second sound, it's got to be in counterpoint with the first one. I mean, there's no point in just having everything go at once. So you've got to cantilever everything so that one thing will trigger something else, and then something else will start gently to move, and then something else will go from that.
There are still certain things that I can't wait to hear that I haven't heard. I don't believe I've heard...
The piano?
The piano, have I?
Yeah, watch your head. See, it bounces up and down. These things on this wire just do a little dance over top of it at random over Sometimes
Best
it works.
use I've ever seen a piano put to.
Well, it was an old piano.
And will last forever. It'll last much longer this way than those that need to be tuned and looked after all the time.
You know the trick to discovering these properties? Listen, if you went to a dump,
yes,
or a rubbish heap,
I shall see rubbish heaps in a new light now.
Like this, you see, and struck them together.
There's
you get no sound.
No, you must leave them lit free.
You have to. That's right, and you have to find the node. You have to actually find the node in this vibrating column. You see. So if you hold it at the end, for instance, come here for a minute. Tap this one against mine, and let me hold it different places, and you'll notice the difference. Still dead. All right.
That sounds
hear
a little
it?
better.
You see?
Yes.
We're finding the right place.
That's
there
better.
There we go.
That's
There.
much better.
Now you've got
but the
clear
middle
sound.
is dead.
The middle is dead. If I were to hold it in the middle, you'd get a dead sound too. Tap it to me.
Yes.
See?
But
Because that's a loop.
I see.
And these would be nodes. And if you
Yes.
can find the node and then attach your wire to the node,
So
then you get a brilliant resonant sound.
Actually, this is far from random. Each place where you have attached it is the precise
Oh yes,
place.
the precise place. That's right. Yes.
It's
Same
just a work
thing
of
with all
art.
those- all those bars. We worked very hard to find just the right place.
It didn't take long to discover that this delicate, gigantic mobile was to be set in motion by a human motor.
Do you want to get on this end and I'll
Yes.
get on? You get on first. All right? Now, that's a push of it. That's it.
I can't hear the piano. Oh, yes. But it is...
The after effects are beautiful. Listen to the way it calms down.
Of course. That is, in a way, the most beautiful part, because you hear the individual sounds stopping.
Yeah. Let's listen and see what the last one is that we hear.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Wonderful. It's a lesson in listening. It's something that every child should have recourse to.
Yeah.
It's the best training in the world.
Isn't it?
It's the only
Actually,
training.
what they should do is build one.
Yes.
Because when you build it, then you discover all the properties of sound that are inherent in these objects.
And it teaches you to refine your hearing, to listen to other things, to try to understand other things.
And you know a good way to do that? If you take a group of kids out on a walk, and you just, as a gang, and you say, we're going to listen to the sounds, of course, everyone will go out and talk.
Yeah.
So the best way to do it is a very simple thing, is to say, I want everyone to walk, one behind the other, just out of earshot of the footsteps of the person ahead of you.
Yes.
And kids love to do that, you know, listening for the footsteps of the person ahead of them.
Yeah.
And that puts them in a private cocoon.
It's sort of a red Indian walk, isn't it?
It's a red Indian walk. I think it would be a good thing for children to experiment building something like this.
Yes.
Because you learn about the acoustic properties that are inherent in any object, and you turn it into a sound object by finding out what makes it
Well,
sound.
the Africans have that approach to any object. I've often noticed that they won't judge by the visual aspect of an object. They'll go to an object and knock it.
And knock it. It's beautiful.
And they don't judge of an object until they hear it.
Yeah.
Tell me, when did you put this up?
Just the other day.
Just the other day?
Yeah, preparation for you.
Well, you couldn't have prepared
Well, we were going to
anything.
do an interview, weren't we? So we decided we'd make a little teeter-totter and...
Let's start it again.
Okay.
Our ears are constantly on the alert. This adventure with Murray Schafer made me sharply aware that while we may have eyelids, we have no ear lids. The deaf alone know a world of total silence and isolation. From the very dawn of life, living creatures were sensitive to light, touch, and the presence of food. But for a long time, they did not hear. They detected pressure, currents, and direction in water, helped by an organ controlling the sense of balance. Fish developed the midline, a sensitive line down both sides of the body, responding to movement in the water with ever greater subtlety. Response to light had by now developed into the eye. Hearing, as such, did not become a necessity until that moment when a few inquisitive fish left their maternal home to explore dry land. The impulse may have been the need for a safe place in which to lay their precious eggs, or a recession of the oceans and rivers, or perhaps simply the reaching upward towards the light. Whatever prompted it, the move was of cosmic importance. And now that the pressure of water was gone, some organ was needed to detect pressure changes in the air. The organ of balance was by this time the pair of semicircular canals which most animals share.